Right.
So now we're going to talk about bottom technique, and the most basic bottom technique is how to get up off when you're flat like this. And so one thing we can do is we can call Zing up. So I'll move this leg up, just one leg, and then I'm going to, and if people are really laying on us, like they're using us like a table, I'm going to put one knee up, and I'm going to push over that. And this is called building to your base. It's not built to my base. And then the other way to do this, if that's hard, that can be really a challenge. Another thing you can do is you can come up with two knees. Instead of just coming up with one, you come up with two. So you come up with two knees, and you get to your butt. Right here, I want to just go like this.
All right, so today we're going to talk about second most after building your base and building to your butt, the second most important skill, and that is how to counter a half Nelson. And so the most important thing is if Dan throws a half Nelson in on me, if I have to look away and then I got to turn my body away from him. Okay, so it's actually probably more than that. Look away, clinch, pull that arm off, and then turn my body away. So if I cannot look away from a half Nelson, so say Dan puts a half in, and he gets me here, and I can't look away, that's when that half Nelson works. So we have to take action before that happens. So the moment that you feel a half Nelson in there, just once again, I'm going to go look away, clinch, turn away, and I might even grab with the cross wrist, take that hand away. So that's look away, turn away.
Action.
All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is the wing roll. This is going to help you cement in your mind to look away and turn away when someone puts a half Nelson in on you. And this is going to be a great motion. We're going to use it other places. So Dan throws a half in on me. He somehow gets a half in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this arm down so that his hip hits, and then I'm going to high leg over him. Okay, so it looks like this. I'm going to go through it once, and then we'll break it down. So I pull him down. I lift this leg up. I kick off my right leg. I high leg over with my left leg, keeping my butt towards the air the whole time, and I land on top of Dan. So let's do that one more time. This is a wing roll. Okay, Dan gets a half Nelson. I'm going to wing him down. I'm going to put him on his hip. I'm going to high leg over, keeping my butt towards the air the whole time. Okay, pushing off my right leg, high legging with my left leg. Pull. This leg goes over. Roll on top. Wing roll. Head, top of my head?
No. Well, yeah.
Okay, good. So today we're going to talk about how to get out of a half Nelson, how to get off your back. So this is really basic bottom technique as well, just as much as building to your base or building to your butt. We got Lamont here giving us a hand. So Lamont's going to throw in a half Nelson. So that's when you go up like that, right? And then you go over, and then you scoop. No, just go like this with the head. And so what people do is that they try to get off their back, and they try to go magically through this person's arm, right? They're like, oh, I can't get out. And the thing that you have to do is you got to take your hand, and you got to go under, and then you can come out, and you can squish out. And the same thing that's with the half Nelson, say he does a reverse half, and he scoops my head. So now this time he goes like this, takes me over, and then he scoops my head. Again, I can't just go through his arm. That doesn't work. So Lamont, come on over, just flip this. He's giving me a lot of fight here. So I just can't go through his head or his arm. I gotta take my hands and go underneath, and then come on out. That's how you get it off your back if someone's done a half Nelson on you. So you're gonna need to know how to do that, or a reverse half.
Okay.
Action. Record it.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is sealing out. Okay, so when we seal out, basically what we're talking about is sealing out this arm. So the basic premise of wrestling, when he's riding, he's coming forward, okay? And he's putting weight on my hands. So I can feel the weight in my hands. Whenever that happens, that's, you know, what his objective is. And generally my objective is to go backwards, right? And to shed his weight. And so what we got to do, this hand has already gotten inside. You know, he can get in and put weight on me that way. But we want to stop this one from doing that. So what we're going to do is, off the whistle, is I'm going to take this hand and get inside. Okay? This hand is going to be up. Okay? And then this hand is going to be trying to go for this wrist right here. So I'm sealing him out right there. That's called sealing out. And he may be pushing quite a bit against me. That's okay. I might even push my head down. Okay? We call this duck and hide. And this can be a really good strategy for if you're wrestling a guy that's real strong. Because we have a 1 minute period in little kids wrestling. Most of us will be wrestling 1 minute. And if I get turned, the only way that I can catch up basically is if I turn him. So an escape won't do it, a takedown won't do it, we'll have to turn him. So it's really important for that 1 minute for us to not get turned. So first thing we're going to do, probably the most important thing, seal him out, okay? And if he pushes, that's okay, we're going to duck and hide. I'm even going to put my hand right here, duck and hide. And then what I'm going to do, I want to talk about this next concept. After we duck and hide, we're going to cross push. Or I'm going to get a 2-on-1 to a stiff arm. Okay, and so what that means, if I'm up still, okay, I'm going to lift this hand up. And there's always some controversy, you know, do you grab the fingers? Then he can't grab my hand. Or do I grab the wrist? If you grab the wrist, you get a little bit of a stronger grip. If you grab the fingers, grab them so hard that his fingernails turn white, okay? So let's just say I'm going to pull up with the wrist. Then I'm going to grab right here, and I'm going to force that hand away with two hands until my arm is locked, my elbow is locked out. And at that point, it's really hard for Dan to push in. Let me see if he can try it. It really takes no muscle on my part. And that's what we want to do. We want to be able to beat people that are stronger than us. Okay? And the same thing can happen, even if I'm in duck and hide mode, I can still do a 2-on-1 and cross push to a straight, to a stiff arm. So let's practice that. I go back, Dan pushes me down. I'm still working this hand to that point right there. Okay? He is now stiff-armed up. Great.
Recording.
Okay, so the next thing that we're going to talk about is a 5-0 position. Okay, and a 5-0 position is whenever his arm is on top of our shoulder. And so whenever that happens, that's a really bad position for him because he's lost some control. Whenever he's on top of my shoulder, that's a problem because what I can do is I can just take that hand, put it over the other side of my head. So he's here, I put it there, I put it on the ground, stick my butt up in the air, and I get out. And there's nothing he can do about that, right? So this is going to be our main escape, and this is the main way that we're going to be working, forcing the 5-0 position. We're going to talk about forcing the 5-0. We're going to start right now. So one way that we can do that, one of the main ways, seal off, lift, so I stay down. I don't want to grab right here, otherwise Dan comes inside right there, okay? Especially for the good wrestlers that are wrestling. Lift, I'm going to cross, push 2-on-1 until I get a stiff arm, and if Dan probably will come around, he was going to come around that way, and when he does so, I'm going to force my elbow underneath his. Now look, I've got a 5-0. So I'm going to take that hand, I'm going to put it down, and either, it doesn't matter which side. If he's over on that side because he came around, I'm going to do a push-up, stick my butt in there, and come around. If he hasn't come around, just take that hand, put it over the other side of my head. So he's here, I put it there, I put it on the ground, stick my butt up in the air, and I get out. Just as well. Either way, I can put my butt up, either way, and I get away. So that's a basic 5-0 circle out. It's not really a stand-up, but that's kind of what we're talking about. Circling away. 5-0, circle away. stiff arm stand-up. Okay, so let's give that a shot right now. So basically, here we go. I seal out. Same beginning sequence as always. I lift up. I use two hands. Try push, 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 push until that hand goes out. Okay, stiff arm. Dan may push me down to the ground. That's just what he does. So if I do that, if he does that, I'm gonna put my leg out and I'm gonna come back up. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do then is I'm gonna get up in two positions, in two stamps. So now Dan can be pushing against me. That's fine. Doesn't matter. I put one hand down. I get off my butt. I get my heel up, or my butt up off my heel. And then I push one more time and I'm up, okay? So now I still have him. I'm going to make sure that that arm stays stiff. And I'm going to hold on to it. And there's two ways we can cut out. I'm going to show you what's most common, and that is I'm going to put this hand in my back pocket. I'm going to lean away, and I'm going to cut away. So let's just go through that simple cut away from there. First, seal out, lift, grab the fingies so they don't grab your hand, push, cross push. If Dan pushes me down, fine, I put my leg out, I rotate, so now this leg stays just where it was before, put my hand down, come up level 1, come up level 2, hand in the pocket, cut away. That's cutaway number 1. We're going to do another cutaway. And what can happen here, now we've described why we're going to do this other cutaway. What can happen is that a lot of times kids will drop to their single right now. Boom. And so I don't want to lose this hand. When I'm going here, he grabs onto my leg and it causes all types of problems, right? Or I'm circling, he just keeps on following. So that can get really tough. So what we're going to do is we keep this here. And I'm going to do like a 5-0. Remember the 5-0? I got his arm here. I got his hand to this side of my leg, of my head. Okay, so we're going to do a 5-0. I'm going to turn this way. And I'm going to get my head in there. And that, by getting my head in there, I'm keeping him from dropping to my legs. I'm kind of down blocking him from that position. So here, and I'm going to get this arm, my head, so that, right, this would be 5-0 position if his arm was right here. I'm going to get his arm to that position. I'm going to go like that. I'm going to push him away. And that's going to help give me a little leg defense when I'm standing up. And it's a little bit more powerful when I get my whole body in there. When I get my whole body in there, his arms get farther and farther apart. Right? It's hard for Dan to hold on to me when I'm like this. He can't hold on to me. Whereas if I'm going like this, he can still hold on to me a little bit, right? His hands are still tight. His hands are getting farther apart. And you can't hold on to something when your arms are this far apart. So it's a 5-0 stand-up with the standard cutaway, and with 5-0, get your head in there, push away.
One.
Oh, okay. So breaking a 2-on-1, this is a major. If I let this happen, it's gonna cause me some problems, and it's hard to break a 2-on-1. So what we're gonna do, the basic way that we break a 2-on-1, there's two ways. Let's talk about them both. One way is I push down, and that opens up a little space right here. I put my elbow in, and then I can get that, and then I go cross wrist, and I go this way. Okay, then I got him sealed out. So let's just take a look at that. He's got a 2-on-1. I push down. This is a little bit of a secret. This hurts if you push right there, like in between his index finger and his thumb. So I can put my elbow right there. And I got to pull. I got to push and I got to pull. So this is not a static one thing. I push and I pull. And then I go here. So it's always when you're breaking wrists and doing or elbow fighting, you always have to go cross. And then I go in here, and I got sealed out at this point on both sides. The other way that we can break a 2-on-1 is, again, like I said, I always go cross wrist. I can weave it. I can go in here, under this one, over this one, and then I bust it. And then I bust it, and I'm out. This one's that's a little bit less good, because if I bust here, he can grab right there. Okay, so the best way, punch down, put your elbow in here, go like that, cross wrist, seal out. We're going to do duck and hide, and if he grabs an ankle. What to do, just in general, if someone grabs our ankle. So let's pretend that, really, we're just doing duck and hide. I'm sealing out. Boom, I go down, and Dan's on top, right? And a lot of times, this hand might come around. See, it's going to be right there. This is a 5-0 position. He just gave it to us. Okay? So, I get here, but a lot of times he'll grab that ankle. You see that right there? So I was ducking and hiding, and I was working right here. Then I grab this arm, and he takes that hand and goes over here. And so what we're going to do in this situation is keep hold of this arm, push so that it's a slope, okay? If you just go this far, Dan's got too much strength, or your opponent's got too much strength. You got to push until it goes off like that. Okay, and then it's off. You can come over. And then I've still got this 5-0. I'm going to put the hand over on this side, put it down, stick my butt up, come around. And that was called duck and hide. He grabs an ankle, how to get off. And that would also be the valuable, just in general, if someone grabs our ankles, knee up, pivot, slide away. Try to get your body between him and that leg. Pull it up that leg, then it's gone.
Recording.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is how to do a hip heist. Comes up all the time. For example, a hip heist is whenever one leg goes under the other, right? So this, if I do 2 legs up, if I'm down and I build to my butt, that leg is going under there. That's a hip heist. If I stand up, I put the arm in the back pocket and I cut away. That's a hip heist. Okay, so we got to practice doing hip heists, and we should practice them in sets of 2 starting. You should just think bear crawl, crab crawl. And so what you should do is, because you start, so leg under, arm over, then this leg goes under, leg is always under, okay? So now I just did a set of 2 hip heists, okay? So we go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, I'm going the other way, 2, 1, 2. All right, so that's how you should practice around the world. Think of it in sets of 2, okay?
Action.
Okay, this is our basic sit-up. I'm going to scoot out just a little bit, and lift up this leg, this knee I mean. I'm going to sit down right there. And so when you do it that way, his head's going to be right there. And so at this point we can do one of 2 moves. And both of them involve me putting my hand kind of on his head. So this is called a hook shot, kind of like a basketball move. I'm going to find his head. He might be popped all the way over. I'm going to find his head, and I'm just going to turn and come out right here. Okay, so not too technical, but it's really pretty basic here. So I'm going to lift up this knee, step 1. Step 2, sit to my butt. His head is probably going to be popping out right there on your left shoulder. Do a hook shot. Grab right here, turn down. And if you get this with his arm, like this is a half Nelson, we're going to do a half Nelson. Otherwise, just get away. That's the idea. A variation of that would be like to shot put his head and do a hip heist. So let's practice that. So step 1, I kind of swish my feet out, lift up my knee. Sit down. His head pops out right there. And then like the Olympic sport, I'm going to do a shot put. So I'm going to put my hand right here. I'm going to lift up, and I'm going to throw this leg over and this leg under. Yeah. And that's our basic sit-out.
And action.
All right.
so when you're sitting out, you got your cage. Like Coach said in other videos, people will kind of get sloppy and they'll start to look for other things. Whenever somebody lifts up and ends up here, we call that 5-0, right? And Coach showed it with these. So another way to do it is just to lift this up real high, kind of like you're doing the head spin. Let the hands you're away, as you go behind, or just step back. Gazzoni.
Record.
Alright, so, a really simple move that works well, is called a limp arm. Okay, so a limp arm, basically, when people chop the arm, sometimes they let go, and then as they're coming down, that gives me an opportunity to just make a miss. Okay, and sometimes when they miss, I'm basically free. Not completely, because he still has the waist arm, but I've got a lot of latitude right now. He's going to be, if I swing forward, he's going to be at my hips. Okay, so if you want to explode off the whistle, what you should do, instead of being flat with your heels, when you get ready, you should put your toes down, you should put your hands tight, and you should coil, okay? Alright? And so then what you should plan on doing then, to do this move, is I should plan on being real tense, and when the whistle blows, I'm going to wait for that arm to come off, okay? And when it does, chop. I'm going to run away. Okay, my son calls that little piggy. That's a great way to just get out. You do need to be a little bit strong, okay? So this is not for everybody. Get your toes in the mat. Put your hands on the mat. Coil. Let him get on. And when the whistle blows, and if he chops, you're gone. Okay, and it's a simple move, but you basically have two choices when you're down. Stand strong or run away. This is the runaway option.